On the northbound route through the High Sierra in California, you don't ease into difficulty. You hit Forester Pass early, and just when you think that's the hardest thing you'll face, Glen Pass shows up right behind it. But here's the thing, after those two climbs, everything else feels doable. Leadership works the same way. When you tackle the hard stuff first, the rest doesn't disappear. It stops owning you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Northbound Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Today's episode is all about front-loading difficulty. Leadership doesn't get easier because problems disappear. It gets clearer because your mindset and your capacity for those problems changes. Because avoidance will just compound difficulty, while courage will compress it. And we're talking about this from a lesson that I learned in the Sierra, and it includes Forester Pass and Glen Pass, two of the harder passes that you must climb on your northbound journey. Northbound through the Sierra, Forester Pass is the first serious pass you come to, and it is long, exposed. It's physically demanding, especially with lots of snow. And there's one section of it where you have to climb over the snow, and it can be pretty sketchy. It's a hard pass. It goes up over 14,000 feet, and man, it is demanding. And then shortly after that, maybe just a couple of days past that one, you'll get to Glen Pass. And Glen Pass is arguably harder in some cases, again, especially with snow. When it's a high snow year, Glen Pass can be fairly dangerous. And so it is also just as brutal and maybe even a steeper approach. Now, the thing is that these two passes in the Sierra, they don't remove the future climbs. They just recalibrate your confidence. After those two climbs, everything else feels fairly manageable. Not necessarily easy, but definitely possible. What's crazy is that I actually experienced a pass that I thought was harder than both of them, but I didn't know that it was going to be harder for me. And so I went into it with a different mindset. Now, it ended up being the hardest pass, and that was Muir Pass. Part of the reason for that is the approach isn't really all that steep. However, it's a very long approach, and when there's snow, you're hiking for probably about 10 to 15 miles of just nothing but snow. And so there was a lot of post-holing, and it's just really, really tiring on your body and really hard. And so I went into that climb going, this will be pretty easy. It's not that steep. It ended up being one of the harder passes. However, mentally, it wasn't hard. Early, hard leadership decisions shape how every future challenge is experienced. We're going to go through some leadership truths today. Truth number 1, avoidance makes everything feel harder. Leaders who avoid hard conversations, hard decisions, or accountability, they don't preserve their energy, they actually drain it. Because avoided problems don't stay the same. They actually get worse. They grow teeth and they consume your bandwidth. What you avoid first is only going to become what defines you later. Leadership truth number 2, hard things create capacity. Hard leadership moments will expand your internal capacity for more. And they build judgment, confidence, and resilience. That first hard firing, the first hard conversation, the first time you say this isn't working, the first time you take responsibility for something that you didn't break, the first time you say, I don't know. Leaders aren't born confident. They become confident by climbing that hard terrain early. Leadership truth number 3, momentum is really psychological. It's not just situational. After Forester and Glen passes, the terrain doesn't magically flatten. It's your mindset that shifts. Because once you tackle that hardest issue, those smaller issues stop feeling overwhelming. Decision fatigue decreases and confidence replaces dread. Again, the hard things aren't going to disappear. They're just going to lose some of their power over you. Leadership truth number 4, easy first is a trap. Many leaders start with low-hanging fruit, and that feels productive, but it delays real progress. Because the hardest issue still waits, and it has more time to grow and get worse. Now, there is only one caveat here that I have, and that is when it comes to finances. And we're talking about leadership truths, but with finances, there is absolutely a time where you kind of take maybe you're paying off debt you're going to want to pay off some of those small loans first and then start applying what you were paying to the small loans to your bigger ones. I believe that the Dave Ramsey team calls that the debt snowball or something like that. So it's paying off debt. And that's great for that situation. But we're talking in leadership, waiting to tackle the hardest issues really just gives those issues time to grow and get bigger and grow teeth, like we said before. So at Northbound, we recommend taking that hardest issue and getting it tackled first. Leadership truth number 5. Hard does not mean reckless. Tackling hard things first is not impulsive leadership. It's proactive. It's intentional. It's prepared, and it's courageous. This does not mean that we are having emotional outbursts or going through it unplanned or driving with our ego. It is about clear thinking, honest communication, and willingness to bear that weight early. Here's another truth. Truth number 6 is that the team is going to feel the shift immediately. When you start tackling the hard issues, the team is going to feel safer, trust is going to increase, and ambiguity is going to decrease. So people are going to see that you mean business, and they're going to feel like, okay, we're doing something. We're going to tackle the hard stuff. We've seen this problem for a long time, and this leader is going to tackle it. People now know where you stand. They're going to stop guessing, and they're going to stop carrying unspoken tension. They are going to be very, very excited and proud and to see you move, and they're going to want to go with you. Leadership truth number 7. When you tackle the hard things first, you're going to create speed later. It's going to start speeding up. Front loading the difficulty is going to slow you down temporarily, but then it's going to accelerate everything afterward. It's going to help you set a clear culture, clear expectations, faster decisions, and less reworking. So, in conclusion here's some main points and some key takeaways for today. Leadership is terrain, and you're going to have to navigate it. It's not a simple checklist. Avoidance is going to compound difficulty. Hard things are going to build capacity and confidence, and momentum changes after the hardest climb. Easy first leadership is only delaying progress. Courage early will create speed later, and teams trust leaders who tackle reality. When leaders admit this is bad, this situation is bad, and we need to address it. We need to fix it, and we're going to tackle it now. That develops trust. Tackle those hard leadership issues first, because hard conversations don't weaken leaders, they strengthen them. And avoidance is going to cost you. 2026 is about action. Confidence follows action. It's not the other way around. Forester Pass and Glen Pass don't make the Sierra easy. The Sierra is very, very difficult, but they change how you experience the rest of the trail. Leadership works the same way. Tackle the hard first. You'll find everything else becomes possible to carry. At Northbound, we're not going to avoid the climb. We're going to take it head on, and we're going to help each other do the same. I want to see you at the summit. I want to hike with you to the summit, both literally and figuratively. That's why I started this company. This company is not just about a podcast. It's not just about an online community. It's actually about us together, not only in the community, not only on this podcast, but also in the backcountry. That's why I want to put all this together with actual adventures that we go on as leaders. That's where we learn the most about ourselves. That's where we learn to take care of each other so that we can get to the top together. Thanks, everybody. You can reach me directly at chris@go-northbound.com. And by the way, the picture in the description of this episode is my camp and the tent just before the next morning going over Glen Pass. So threw that in there just for fun. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye. You just listened to another episode from the Northbound Podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you were encouraged and empowered in leadership. Go lead boldly and humbly. And remember our vision. Elevate your team through Christ-centered leadership. If you want to be a part of our community, just go to go-northbound.com and follow the link and come join us. Follow along with courses and live streams and chats, and maybe even join us for an adventure. We'd love to have you. All of those links are in the description below. Thank you again for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. See ya.